This channel does not endorse electric vehicles. That position has not changed. It will not change today. But a market signal landed this week that cannot be ignored. On June 24, 2026, a company called Slate Auto opened non-refundable pre-orders on a new electric pickup truck built in Warsaw, Indiana. They already held 100,000 refundable reservations secured within 3 weeks of their May 2025 reveal. Not because the truck is fast, not because the towing numbers are impressive, not because the interior is luxurious. Because the manufacturer looked at what every other truck builder is producing and deliberately removed one specific piece of hardware from the dashboard: the cellular modem. Autoblog confirmed the decision on June 3, 2026. By deliberately leaving out an embedded cellular modem, Slate Auto physically prevents third-party data brokers and the company itself from tracking the driver location or data. Read that again. People are paying for the guarantee of privacy. That is the market signal. And it says something devastating about every connected truck sitting on a dealer lot. This video is not about whether anyone should buy the Slate truck. This channel runs pre-1996 mechanical engines and knows exactly why. This video is about what 100,000 reservations for a modem-free truck proves about the American consumer, and what it proves about the truck sitting in the driveway right now with a 5G connection running in the background while the owner sleeps. Part 1. What Slate actually built, and what the no modem decision means technically. The Slate truck is an electric compact pickup manufactured from approximately 600 total parts. 2 seats, 2 doors, manual windows, no infotainment screen from the factory, no embedded cellular modem, no ability for the manufacturer to continuously monitor location, driving behavior, or vehicle status. The smartphone app that manages charging settings and drive modes functions only when the phone is physically present in or next to the truck. Top Speed confirmed the OTA update architecture in April 2025. The truck has no cellular modem and no Wi-Fi connectivity. Software updates are downloaded to the owner phone and transferred by physically plugging into the truck. The manufacturer cannot push a software update without the owner physically initiating it. The manufacturer cannot push a subscription change that locks a feature. The manufacturer cannot send a remote ignition block command. The manufacturer cannot generate a GPS history of every trip to package and sell to a data broker. Physically cannot, because the hardware required to do any of those things is not in the truck. Slate stated the company philosophy directly to Say Media Group in June 2026. We are building it around ownership value. We collect data to make ownership better, not to turn the owner into the product. The Electronic Frontier Foundation's senior security activist Thorin Klasowski reviewed that statement for Same Media and said, "That is ideally what we like to see." He added appropriate caution. These promises are not always kept long term. That caution is fair. But the hardware decision is not a promise. The absence of a modem is a physical reality. You cannot break a privacy promise with hardware that does not exist. The starting price is in the mid-$20,000 range. The federal EV tax credit that would have brought it below $20,000 was eliminated by the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Approximately 40% of the average new truck transaction price of $64,790 recorded by Cox Automotive in July 2025. That price delta is notable, but the pre-order response was not primarily about price. It was about what the architecture does not do to the person who owns it. Part 2. What the architecture of the connected truck does do to its owner. General Motors operates OnStar Remote Ignition Block. GM trademarked that phrase with the United States Patent and Trademark Office. The USPTO trademark application describes the service as a service whereby a signal is sent to a Motorland vehicle to prevent the vehicle from starting. GM made OnStar standard equipment on all 2025 Chevrolet, Buick, GMC, and Cadillac vehicles. Every new GM truck today comes with factory-installed capability for the manufacturer to prevent the engine from restarting after it has been turned off. No aftermarket device, no dealer add-on, built in at the factory. The FTC enforcement action against General Motors and OnStar, announced January 2026, barred the company from disclosing geolocation data and driver behavior data for 5 years. The California Consumer Privacy Protection Agency fined General Motors $12.7 million for breaking California privacy law by selling driver data without meaningful consumer consent. The New York Times documented in March 2024 that GM had been selling OnStar driving behavior data to LexisNexis and Verisk, two data brokers that sell directly to insurance companies for premium underwriting. Premiums increased for affected customers based on data they did not knowingly consent to share. That is a documented enforcement action with a dollar amount attached. That is the FTC on record. That is the California CPPA on record. That is the New York Times investigation on record. The connected truck participated in that system. The modem-free truck cannot. Here is the math they keep dodging. The average new full-size truck in 2026 costs approximately $75,000. The manufacturer earns additional ongoing revenue from connected services subscriptions. The connected services architecture enables the sale of behavioral data to third parties, including insurance underwriters. Those underwriters use that data to set premiums that increase. The owner pays the purchase price. The owner pays the connected services subscription. The owner pays the insurance premium increase driven by data collected from the truck the owner thought they purchased outright. The manufacturer profits at every step. The owner pays at every step. BMW attempted to charge $18 per month for heated seats already installed and wired into vehicles. Toyota charged a subscription for the remote start function on a key fob that came with the truck. General Motors structures Super Cruise, built on hardware already installed in the dashboard, as a recurring subscription. This is the documented current state of the industry. And Section 4220 of the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act directs NHTSA to mandate passive biometric impairment detection technology in every new passenger vehicle. Breath sensors in the steering column measuring alcohol content. Infrared sensors in the start button measuring blood alcohol through the skin. Both systems generating biometric data on every trip. Kelley Blue Book confirmed in May 2026 that this mandate is expected to take effect late 2026 or early 2027. The Slate truck will not have that system because it will not have the embedded architecture that makes the system possible. Part 3. What the 100,000 reservations actually prove. The Slate truck reservation count reached 100,000 in 3 weeks following the May 2025 reveal. Wikipedia documented the comparison. The Cybertruck reached 250,000 reservations in its first week. The Rivian R2 reached 68,000 in its first 24 hours. The Slate truck reached 100,000 in 3 weeks with minimal brand awareness and a refundable $50 deposit for a company that had not yet shipped a single vehicle, for a truck that does not have a radio from the factory. That response is a market statement, not a statement about EVs, a statement about connected vehicles. The customers who reserve the Slate truck are not primarily buying an electric motor. They are buying the architecture that makes tracking impossible. They are paying for the physical absence of a system that every other manufacturer is making standard equipment. Motor Biscuit documented the behavioral shift in March 2026 directly. The American pickup buyer cycle has violently broken down. Dealership lots are overflowing with inventory, yet buyers are actively walking away. The reason is a rejection of modern truck market pricing and complexity. Those buyers are not going without trucks. They are buying pre-emissions platforms in the private market at prices that have appreciated 25 to 150%. Sandhills Global confirmed in May 2026 2026 that used truck inventory on truckpaper.com is down more than 20% year over year across 7 consecutive months of decline. The clean pre-2015 examples are disappearing fastest. A 2003 Silverado LM7 that cleared $8,000 in 2021 now clears $14,000 to $17,000. A rust-free 2005 Tacoma V6 that was $10,000 in 2020 is $16,000 to $22,000 today. The market is voting with money. Pre-1996 mechanical. Pre-2007 diesel without emissions after treatment. Pre-2015 without an always-on cellular modem. And now a $50 deposit on a new truck from a startup that understood stripping the modem out was the product. Part 4. What Detroit needs to read in this signal. The connected vehicle architecture that every legacy manufacturer is deepening each model year is generating the same market response that every other industry generates when customers discover they are the product rather than the purchaser. The customer walks away. Not all of them, not immediately, but in numbers large enough to show up in lot inventory data and in the private market appreciation of pre-connected vehicles. The legacy manufacturers are carrying floor plan interest on lots full of $75,000 rolling surveillance platforms that nobody is trading into from the used market. The used market for the vehicles those lots replaced is 20% thinner year over year and still shrinking. And 100,000 people made a financial commitment to a new truck specifically because the manufacturer removed the hardware that every legacy builder is making standard, not adding value with the modem, removing it. That is the gap between where Detroit is building and where the American buyer is standing. The pre-1996 mechanical truck remains the most complete version of the ownership guarantee. No manufacturer promise required. No hardware architecture to break. No subscription to expire. No remote command to receive. No biometric sensor watching the driver start the engine. The chemistry of the fuel and the physics of the combustion do not require anyone permission to operate. But the fact that a new manufacturer had to physically remove connectivity from a vehicle just to win back the trust of 100,000 customers in 3 weeks tells the complete story of where the relationship between the American driver and the modern automotive industry currently stands. They built a cage, and the buyers just walked away. Does the truck in the driveway have a screen that talks to a server? Would you pay a premium for the hardware guarantee that it could never track the driver, report to an insurer, or receive a command that prevents it from starting? Sound off in the comments below. If you refuse to let a corporate algorithm hold the key to your ignition, hit the subscribe button and join the resistance. Keep the old iron running, keep turning your own wrenches, and we will see you in the next one.